Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who keeps a cache of mines in his apartment in case Godzilla attacks. It's Norbert Morvan.
これは何ですか何ゴジラです
Oh, Norbert,
Yeah.
those mines take up a lot of space in your house.
Let me tell you something. You never have enough minds.
Are you hoping Godzilla eats your apartment, your house?
Brother, Godzilla, rage zombies, whatever you need.
The thing from the host.
You roll out a mine at the appropriate time. As long as you get that 13 millimeter aimed properly, bang, problem solver. His name is Revolver. Yeah, let's go.
You remind me of that guy from Hot Fuzz who had all the stuff in his place and the mine. I love it.
You can never be too prepared, man.
This movie, Godzilla Minus One, is one. There's several films I really respect from 2023, but I think this one and The Creator are probably two of the most important films. I think that people can learn. Well, I mean, Barbie was gigantic, but for what I'm saying is, if we're looking at like genre, creature, monster fare, and actually Barbie's kind of genre fare because it's an alternate reality, but you know what I mean. So actually, I think people might learn the wrong lessons from Barbie and be like, let's make toy movies. And you're like, no, guys, no, you got to add a story into it. And like
Monopoly movies on the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Reboot Clue is happening. You're welcome.
But what I like about The Creator and Godzilla Minus One is Godzilla Minus One had a $15 million budget, made bank, won an Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. The Creator, when I walked out of that film, I was like, that's like a 200 million, 250 million budgeted film. But then I learned that it cost 80 million, like 86 million. They use a Sony FX3, which is a $2,000 camera without the body to shoot. They were like, well, if we build a stage and do all this, we could just travel to 70 locations around the world and shoot on location. And I'm Gareth Edwards, so I've done special effects. I've done Godzilla. I've done Rogue One. I grew up with special effects, and so did the director of Godzilla Minus One. And I can just go out and I can make a good looking movie for 86 million and everyone will think it's 200 million, and I'll do it on location with a small crew and it'll look better than 99% of the movies that are out now. And
correct,
we'll get a nomination for best visual effects. So these two movies stretched their budgets and they were very deliberate and they were very specific and they had a great plan. They had good leaders, and both movies are legit and look gorgeous. And they're the kind of films that I think people need to watch and learn from. Like I'm teaching a producing class right now, and I have my students either pick Godzilla Minus One or The Creator and do a 10-minute presentation about the production of it to like think as a producer. Like these are two movies that I deeply admire. And I love that we're talking about at least one of them today.
The Creator, that movie came out of nowhere. And it's hard sci-fi, man. Sci-fi that you would expect to come out of the 90s. And once again, the seed of Denzel Washington, give that man a phone book to read and I will sit there and listen. The man just so magnetic, charismatic, and the story's really good. And then you come to find out, twist at the end, kind of. What you thought happened actually didn't happen. So I don't spoil it for the people who didn't see it. It's a really good movie. It's such a good movie. And the actors in it, my boy, is it Watanabe?
Yeah, sir. Ken. Yeah, he's great.
Let them fight. He's in there. All right. You get Allison Janney, who, quite frankly, we don't see her in enough movies.
She's incredible in that movie.
Another great one. Gemma Chan. It's if you dig hard sci-fi, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to enjoy this movie. And David Washington, he's just an excellent lead. And again, Tenet was not a bad movie.
Dude,
I put it out there.
Tenet is awesome. I'm sorry. Like,
full stop. I love Tenet.
I know we're talking about Godzilla Minus One, but for me, Tenet,
we'll get there.
We've covered it. I've covered it with Niall. Tenet's such an odd one for me because I remember watching it with Megan, and we're like, oh yeah, like two people from the future going back. One's trying to like destroy it, one trying to prevent it. And then they have this system with pincer movements, and it's not hard to understand. It's
really not.
The thing about Nolan is I had to go through all of his movies and count every time people mention time or the MacGuffin of the movie. So I analyzed,
MacGuffin, yeah.
And like, you know what I noticed is He'll explain everything to you. Memento, he explains everything. Inception, I got to do the math, but I'm pretty sure 80% of Inception is explaining Inception.
And that's why I hate Inception.
Yeah.
Quite frankly. Because it's just Joseph Gordon-Levitt telling you, well, this is how this works.
Yes.
And this is how we're going to do this. And this is what's next. I was like, shut up, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Shut up. Let me figure it out.
Yeah. Beyond the first watch, it's pretty rough. I think Ken Watanabe's in that too. But yeah, I just thought it was fun. And then Tenet, you just watch it and no one's kind of like, I love watching movies and just absorbing them. And that's what Tenet is for. It's just bad. Like, people look amazing. John David Washington's kitchen fight is incredible. Like, like, where's my hot sauce? And like, the movie looks awesome. But then people are like, I don't get it. It's too quiet. And then I think everyone just walked into it going, I don't get it. And
exactly.
I'm sorry if you watched it and didn't get it. My apologies. But if you sat down and earnestly gave it a shot and didn't get cool, but like, as long as you weren't just like, yeah, or whatever, I don't know what this is. This is dumb. But it's just annoying that people now are like, hey, Tenet's great. And you're like, no,
it stands up to rewatching too. That's the thing.
Yeah. Oh, I love Tenet. I love 10-10. Come on now.
Exactly.
No one loves numbers. So it's
exactly.
And
so that was our little diversion.
Yeah. and back to Godzilla Minus One. But this is a movie, man. Like, just, Takashi Yamazaki, the way, 35 people did the VFX on this. This movie has a $15 million budget. It's just, and it puts the humans first. Godzilla looks great. They didn't even know they were going to use that much water. Like, one of the young compositors on their team was like, hey guys, look at this. And they're like, oh, that looks good. Okay, we can use more water scenes now. Like, it's crazy.
Let's do that again.
And Norbert, I'm going to let you speak eventually here, but one thing that's bothered me about the coverage of this film, there's been a lot of video essays that are kind of like, the movie that made Hollywood look like garbage, or the movie that made Hollywood tremble. And I think people, what people aren't thinking about is that what Takashi Yamazaki did was put a lot of thought into this. He loved the original Godzilla. They put thought into it. They wrote good characters. And so this isn't a thing that makes Hollywood tremble. This is just a movie that was well thought out, well executed, well shot. The visual effects use the environment well, a la Mad Max, which a lot of movies do. So it's not a movie that's going to make Hollywood tremble. It's just a movie that, like all the greats, a lot of thought went into it and a lot of deliberate choices went into it. Like, people went out of their way to think about what would make this movie great. And that is why it's good. And I don't think it's anything that's going to make Hollywood tremble. I don't think it's going to destroy Hollywood. I don't think it shows the glares in Hollywood, because Hollywood has always had that problem. It's just, hopefully what people learn from it is, think about what VFX shots you have. If you have a VFX heavy movie and get a director who knows VFX, like Gareth Edwards. Like, don't hire someone that's never done VFX and then make a Marvel movie for $250-300 million, because that's when it gets expensive. So that's, for me, is what this movie is important for, aside from just being awesome and an incredible monster movie and featuring a lot of water action, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what do you love about this movie, Norbert?
I watch all Godzilla movies. I watch all Godzilla stuff. I bought the toy for the 98 Godzilla because it was awesome. The creature design, at the very least. What's really good about this is that the human characters are the most interesting since Godzilla 2000. Godzilla 2000, Godzilla comes to fight a monster that is partially made up of his cells. Regenerator G1, I discovered it. The father and daughter, they go around and they just want to, take pictures of Godzilla. And they're just so cute together. And then you have this one guy who's just supreme thundering asshole, but sexy Japanese guy. Perfect suits, flawless hair, ridiculous smile. But he gives you that nani, he gives you that kind of look. And when he smokes his cigarettes, he wants to stare at Godzilla from 6 feet away on the roof of a building while he's smoking his cigarette, to the point where Godzilla's about to destroy the building and the dude tries to save him and he punches him in the face so that he could just, I've never been so close to Godzilla before. These are cool characters. So now we get to Godzilla Minus One, and we have the PTSD of all PTSD guys, except he didn't actually fight in the war. His job was to be a kamikaze pilot. My man, Koichi Shikishima, unfortunately, he chickened out. He didn't want to kill himself. So he goes to the island, Odo Island, which, Easter egg, first Godzilla movie, Odo Island is where Godzilla shows up. Shows up on Odo Island, parks his plane, and Tachibana, the guy who's supposed to be fixing his plane, curious. I know you said there were problems with the planes, but there wasn't a problem with the plane. Was there? Da, da, da. And he's, come on, man. I didn't want to kill myself. He didn't say anything. He just kind of bails. All right, whatever. I'm a coward. And then, of course, Godzilla shows up. Jurassic Park-sized Godzilla shows up at the beginning and just lays waste to the island, which leads to the one interesting point. He's got this gun on his plane, and Godzilla is T-Rex sized. Could he have murdered Godzilla at the beginning? That's the thought that's put to your head, right?
I mean, he's not irradiated yet, is he?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No. He's just folklore dragon dude.
So if its brains go split, if a landmine goes in its mouth and blows its head off, it's not regenerating.
Not that time.
Not that time.
He didn't get the radioactive spider bite, if you will. Not yet. So he's got him in his sights. Godzilla looks him in the eye. He could have potentially killed this thing, but he chickened out again. Everybody gets killed except for himself and Tachibana. And now my man is just, he's in the doldrums because he's got survivor's guilt on top of the fact that he never wanted to go to war in the first place. And it just builds upon this as the movie goes. We haven't even really gotten into Godzilla yet, but this dude grabs you. His story, his acting.
His war isn't over yet.
Good. Man, he says that, And another thing that keeps coming up over and over again, somebody's got to do it. I love that theme. Yeah, somebody's got to do it. What do you mean we're going to fight Godzilla in this ridiculous fishing boat? Somebody's got to do it.
We got to hold him back before the tanker, the destroyer gets here. And the U.S. isn't coming because of Russia.
Because Russia, yes. Russia.
But you know what, though? That's why the movie's smart. Is I think good movies at least give you an explanation of why. So this character has ultimate PTSD. He starts a family, meets with the coolest crew ever, but you're like, oh, it's a wooden boat. But it's really smart that he's a pilot who chickens out. And then you have a wooden boat that cuts mines because 60,000 mines were laid. And then
so many mines.
And then you have, a scientist on board who designed the boats. So when Godzilla becomes a problem and they come up with the plan to sink and then raise him, and then eventually they learn about the soft spot in its mouth through the mine, they really do a great job of laying breadcrumbs that lead to the death or supposed death of Godzilla. And between this and Shin Godzilla, what I've really liked is Shin Godzilla is all about science and, hey, let's figure this out. Let's study this. We cannot kill this horrifying creature that's evolving. So let's use science to stop it. Let's think logically. And that's, I think, what this movie does. They don't want people dying. They don't want the sacrifice. They don't want Idris Elba sacrificing himself to cancel the apocalypse. And
to cancel the apocalypse.
And if you could, I mean, Charles S. Dutton made his money off of sacrificing himself, poor guy. So, I bet you he watched this movie and was kind of like, hey, did I have to do that? But you have, we should survive. And if you leave your adopted daughter, you shouldn't leave her. You have a family. You should not die. And so just watching them just try to sink and then raise Godzilla is just so interesting and so fun and smart. But then you also like the characters, you like the crew, you like the people in this, and they all register as humans. Yeah, sure, some of them are a little bit one note. Shiro is a little bit, he's the young kid who wants to go to battle, and
Oh, good kid, man. Mizushima. Mizushima's a good kid because the thing is, that's still kind of the tail end of a time where you become a man by killing something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, before that, in the days before electricity, you go on a hunt, you kill something. Look, darling, I brought you this dead wildebeest, and now I will clean it, and then you will produce my children and cook it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so this kid, he really wanted to be in the war, and you got to give it to Akitsu, the captain of the boat. Hey, man, listen, not being in the war, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not something to be ashamed of, bro. Like, look at us. We are all kinds of messed up, actually, low key. You know, Akitsu's a good dude, man. He's got his honor, and he doesn't want anybody else to die either.
Mm-hmm.
No, with the glasses and the hair. I love how they code him as a scientist, smart dude, even before you find out that he's actually a really, really smart dude
Oh, he's the
when he's on
best.
that boat. Noto's so cool. And he gives that speech just before they enter what I like to call Operation Deep Star 6 to kill Godzilla like Miguel Ferrer in Deep Star 6. He gives that.
I tried to Deep Star
he,
6 Godzilla.
he tried to Deep Star 6 Godzilla, man. You don't want to get the bends.
Yeah, you don't want to get
You don't want
you don't want to get
nitrogen.
Miguel Ferrard.
Bruh, Miguel Ferrer, God bless his soul. That man died badly. He died worse than if he got killed by the monster. But
Remember in Hot Shots Part
this
2, War. It's fantastic.
Miguel Ferrer, man, miss that dude. Miss that dude. He should still be in things.
I miss like Powers Booth and him and
those
like
the
this,
voice and
like
the eyes, the vibe.
Like I feel like the 80s, there was just so many of those guys that anytime they popped
Yeah,
up in like Rapid Fire or something, you're like, I love them. Like they're great.
this movie's already good. Period. Exactly. Notice speech that he gives. It's another reason why this is great. That the original theme of Godzilla in the original movie is this thing is unstoppable, and we got to respect life. At the end of the day, even though we need to kill this thing, we still got to respect life. And how far are we willing to go to take this out? And Noda is saying, so much of the time that we spent in this war, we've seen just the lack of respect for life.
Yeah.
The tanks that aren't armored well, planes that don't have ejector seats, things like that led to people starving because of bad supply lines. People's died from starvation and disease. So this time we're going to do this right. The first Godzilla movie, the very first one in black and white, Godzilla trampling Tokyo. And you get another Easter egg because he doesn't like trains. Godzilla and public transportation get along like the automotive industry and public transportation. We don't like it. We got to smash it,
And that's bad for Japan because they're so prompt. Like,
well, this is it. Godzilla, to kill him, they use the oxygen destroyer in the first movie. But the guy who makes the oxygen destroyer, Serizawa, which is Easter egg for you kids who watch the more modern Godzillas.
Yep.
That's where you get the Serizawa dude from.
And kind of the same fate.
Yeah. Serizawa dies.
Mm-hmm.
Serizawa dies. But when Serizawa dies in the first Godzilla, it's because, bro, this oxygen destroyer thing, yeah, let's say I do use it the one time and it succeeds. Dow Chemical is going to be like, well, here's 300 million. Thank you. We're going to buy your oxygen destroyer. And now kids are wearing oxygen destroyer t-shirts and there's an oxygen destroyer cartoon and oxygen destroyer is the force of freedom. We can't have that. We need it to not be out there. So he kills Godzilla with the oxygen destroyer in the first movie, but then kills himself. Make sure that all the notes are gone because we got to respect life. This movie, Godzilla Minus One, they bring it right back to it. My man is suffering. He's suffering. He's crying all the time. He can't even sleep. Boom, Noriko. She's like, I'm gonna hold you down, man. If you just come back to me, come back. We've been living in this house for years. You got a baby now, might not be yours. And I'm not your father. He's just telling her that to her face.
I love that his coworkers are like, yo, man.
Like, bro.
Watch yourself, dude.
like, bro.
Hey,
come on, bro.
Hey.
Bro, you got a family. Like, you've been handed a family, my dude. What is wrong with you? That shows you he's just dead inside. just dead inside. And his acting is so good that you don't feel that he's going over the top. You don't feel, oh, this guy, I wish he would just stop whining, shut the hell up. You never get that vibe. He's really, really broken. And Noriko, she pulls him from the brink finally. He wakes up, sees Noriko feeding Aki-chan. Here's the soup, and then you eat the radish. And he's like, you know what?
Oh, man.
Maybe today's a good day. Today's a good day. As soon as she says, yeah, I got a job in Ginza, I was like, Ginza's about to be destroyed.
Yep. Hey, let me show you my family. Like he's that guy. She becomes that guy on the mission who is toast.
Exactly. I just bought a boat yesterday. It's called Live Forever. You know what I'm saying? for the Simpsons. Oh man. So just those little notes that you get from, decades of watching movies. But because the characters are so well acted and the script is well done, when she meets her untimely end, wink, wink, for those of you who didn't see it, Godzilla with the atomic breath. We know that Tokyo was firebombed in World War II. We know this. And Godzilla's atomic breath in the very first movie, it looks like a humidifier. But then things burst into flame because that's the technology they had. Godzilla now, when he uses the breath, it's a nuke. It's never been portrayed like that in any of the Godzilla movies.
That mushroom cloud that explain that's some visual right there.
Like in case you didn't know what Godzilla's a metaphor for. Godzilla's spitting nukes now. Godzilla nuked Tokyo for all intents and purposes. And in 35 movies, he's just stopped Tokyo. He burns monsters. Maybe he'll set some tanks on fire. He nuked Tokyo in this. And you want to talk about the visual effects? Wow. Last wave. Gone. Tokyo's gone. I literally said out loud, oh my God, when I watched that the first time, because it's something that had never happened before in all of the other Godzilla movies. Man, I literally, I'm still speechless now just thinking about it.
That's
because it was a hell of a bomb.
It is so good, and that scene hits so hard. You never when Godzilla blows his breath, it hits a target and it explodes. So I never expected a nuke to just like a shockwave and in a lot of movies, if Godzilla gets pissed, he goes wow, and then it's like a straight line into something. When this one just caused absolute horrifying destruction. But yeah, that hits so hard. And then of course, she dies supposedly.
Yeah.
And that just racks him with even more guilt. And I think that's but then when he reunites with Tachibana and he's like, live, and he does the ejector seat and he writes him a letter, he gets knocked out because he knew he was going to piss him off. But watching him say live and watching his friends say live, and even his neighbor who hated his face, Sumiko Ota, but she still raised the kid and gave the rice, and he gave her the money, and I don't think she wanted him to die, but he still felt like he had to. And that's why this movie works, is because it really does a beautiful job of combining humanity with just a kick-ass monster who looks dope and swims in the water and just looks. And what's kind of cool is with the visual effects, they made the early T-Rex Godzilla muscular and just look like the Sando Aqua monster from Phantom Menace, just jacked.
Nice.
And then the other Godzilla, they wanted the Godzilla to resemble a man in a suit. So then they had.
Thank you for mentioning that.
Godzilla's thick legs, and it is he can be mobile with his tail, and there is some jumping, which would take an absurd amount of power. But yeah, this Godzilla is more lumbering, but that's a direct. They even left out a lot of the musculature, and they purposely made it like, hey, this is old school Godzilla in a new school movie. And I'm not going to say it's a remake, but it's very much so. It's very much so kind of tackling humanity and not more death. And Godzilla means something for the story. And I think that's why Godzilla, the original, is one of the all-time classic monster movies ever made. And I think this one holds up with it. I'm not even saying that with hyperbole. I mean,
No, not at all.
Like, you know what? If this was like a $300 million movie, I would still love it. But since it's a $15 million movie, now I have no idea how much unpaid overtime there was on this film for those 35 workers. Let's
that's the thing.
Let's assume that they worked 20 hours a day for 14 years. So
assume.
Yeah, let's assume. But at the end of the day, I mean, you saw them rally around the awards, and you saw their team. And also the director, he said that he was on site. So if you're working for Pixar on one of these movies, you probably have to email the director. They look at it, they give you notes. He was in the office with them the whole time doing visual effects. So he would run to them, and he
That's
would
credit.
like, he'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I like that. Here's some notes. So the pipeline there was much faster. So if you're into like project management, you should study this movie, because I liked. He also said that there was like 200 to 300 million polygons, and
wow,
like, that's absurd. But the guy working on it lives like a monk-esque life, and he was able to finish it. So I think he just took a lot of excellent project management. And I think the workers also felt, I mean, they gave the compositor the duty of the waves. I think everything I've read about this movie and watched their panels, they all listen, none of them slept, and none of them got paid overtime. Hopefully they got back end, but I do think that they believed in it. And I think their director led from the front, which is very much so what Edwards did on The Creator. And I think those are some of the best directors. Like, I think that's why, call me crazy, but I think that's why maybe James Cameron has had such great hits, because he'll sit in bleach water and get blinded and have his hair dyed white with you. Like, he will be
and
there,
literally tell you how the shot's supposed to go.
Exactly.
And how this is supposed to go there, and this machine works like this because I literally drew it. I made it up.
Yeah. And you know what's cool too is like, he got to start on low budget films. So that's why his big budget films look great, because he has a low budget sensibility. And I think he came up right. And I think the same about this director with his background in visual effects. And I mean,
he knows how everything works. He knows how everything works already. So you're not explaining anything to him. He's telling you, because I know how this is supposed to go.
And there's no like, hey, here's a giant green screen, we'll figure this out later. So it's, but I do think one thing that I think people have to realize, I just want to put this out there. So I know Godzilla Minus One handled its visual effects beautifully, like a Jurassic Park, where it's just, it combined natural elements with VFX to stunning effect. But if you're shooting a movie, say like a Marvel film, you got to do that on backlots, because the amount of spoilers that are going to come out. You know, when I was working on Civil War, there were drones flying over the set, and then it was up to the locations and security to go find the people who were piloting the drones. There was drones getting footage. So like when Paul Rudd popped on set, when other actors popped on set, everyone was figuring out who was there, because it was a public space, because it was where Lagos was. So at the backlot, you don't really have to worry about that. You can have the freedom to set up a green screen airport and have people fight back there. So I understand why it has to be that way, but I do think a lot of money gets wasted because a lot of the directors don't understand the visual effects aspect of it, or the fight. Like that's why John Wick movies don't have insane budgets, because Chad Stahelski understands stunts. So it's, I think it's crazy to say that we're 100 and like, since let's say 125 years for like Trip to the Moon, that was like 10 minutes long, but like let's go there. We're like still that far into cinema, and people are like, hey, if you give like a VFX artist a job and a good script on a VFX heavy film, it's probably cheaper. Like, people are still going, hey, that's cool. So there's still lessons that Hollywood hasn't learned if people are surprised by Godzilla Minus One.
Yeah. Planning, efficiency, knowledge. It's literally the way you're supposed to do anything, any kind of project. Building a table, for Christ's sake. You know, what is it going to look like? Do I have the correct parts? That's how it's supposed to go.
Will it fit?
But so much of what goes on in motion pictures is frankly money laundering as well. You know, so.
Look at the German tax laws, and you'll figure that out.
Yeah. So, these people assume that they have a quote unquote bottomless budget to begin with. They go in there with that idea. We'll get the money for it. We'll get the money for it. Oh, that 20-minute scene that took you a year and a half to make? Yeah, we're going to change that. Movie's still coming out next week, though. Good luck.
Reshoot.
They want to know why things look terrible. Yeah.
Let's go into this film without a complete script. That's always, but you hear that a lot, which kind of blows my mind. And that's why I think people are surprised by Denis Villeneuve getting so much out of $180 million budgets. Why Steven Spielberg can make a movie for 65 million. Why Scorsese can make epic movies for 200 mil, because they have finished scripts. Like that's why Wes Anderson movies cost like $30 because he knows exactly what he wants. So
he sees the whole thing in his head and he wrote it.
Yeah. And like, everybody is there working for him. They get his vision and it happens. Like everything is so manufactured to his liking that's why he can keep the budget low. So it's not a surprise. And I think the one lesson I hope people learn about from this movie is like, hey, get a finished script.
Yeah, number one.
Finish script. Learn from, embrace classics, but then do something new. And like also, original IP. I mean, the creator bombed. They made 100 mil, but it didn't make money. This movie was a giant blockbuster success because it caught. It's an IP or existing intellectual property, and people know Godzilla, but it's also a good movie.
Yeah, it's good.
And I guess Hollywood, there's just, these movies are just rare. These are unicorn movies. That's why, when people step out and they go, well, it's not as good as Alien. I'm like, yeah, because there's so, I'm like, there's so few stone cold classics in each genre. That should prove that you should not compare every movie to them because they are unicorns in the genre. And I think that's what this movie is too. So the next Godzilla movie, like, oh, you know what? Kong times Godzilla, whatever, which is hilarious and amazing, wasn't as good as Godzilla Minus One. It's like, well, no shit.
No.
So it's kind of crazy. Like if simple was easy, every movie would be great. So it's just really, I think these movies should be celebrated when they do come out. Mm-hmm. But I mean, what are some good lessons you think? Like, remember when Blair Witch came out? People are like, found footage. Yes. And
that took over.
Like when Avatar hit 3D. What? So we're gonna add 3D to Shanghai Noon? Yeah. Like,
yes.
Why?
Yes, we will.
So I think Barbie, like now they're doing every board game movie ever, and you're like, oh no. So I think people need to learn a good lesson from this movie and not just, okay, monsters. Hire a VFX guy, because VFX guys get hired and they did Skyline and they did Legion. Those are bad movies. So it's
terrible.
But they kept the budgets cheap because they knew VFX. So it's just get a good writer of a script then. So I think just a lot of it is just being intentional.
No, you're right, man. You're right. And ladies and gentlemen, when you do get the chance to see this movie, watch it in Japanese. Get the subtitles on.
Yes.
Get some popcorn. Enjoy yourself. Pick up a couple of Japanese phrases like Norbert did. Years of anime. You get cool little Japanese phrases. Omaewaru shinderu. You don't know it, but you're already dead from Fist of the North Star. That one always rules. Baka. Idiot. Stupid. That one is always great. Baka. He slaps him in the back of the head like you're an idiot for suggesting that you wanted to be in the war,
Mm-hmm.
Imio. Nah, why this? What's your name? Japanese is cool, man. And you will always pick up a couple of things when you watch something with subtitles. You get to put it out. Imasarayo. It's too late. Kamikaze. Tokoda. Not kamikaze. Because kamikaze is the American word, man. I didn't know that. Tokoda. When he says that he wants to fly the plane into Godzilla's mouth with a bomb, he finally is just ready to get his death wish on because he thinks that Noriko is dead. And this is going to end my war and my life. And the dude just looks at him. Tokoda. Kamikaze. Soka. Yes, I agree. Japanese.
When that plane lands in Godzilla's mouth, I laughed.
Bro.
I know it's not supposed to be funny, but it's just thunk. Just the perfect shot ever.
It was the sound, yeah, and the sound too. It was flow because we've seen his nuke breath come out, and it came out faster than it was supposed to this time. And you're just thinking, okay, he's going to annihilate all of the humans in the water right now. Perfect timing. And it's so good that he hit the ejector seat because just before Godzilla nukes Tokyo, he really was, okay, I'm back. I'm going to make an effort to love this woman and raise this kid and get my life together. He ran all the way back to save her once he heard the radio, and boy, Noriko, first of all, what does she do, man? You think she does like CrossFit or PX90? Because Godzilla grabs that train, everybody else falls out except for her. She's just got a grip on things that are not supposed to be able to grip. And then she's just on the pull-up bar, core strength, check. Arms, check. Lats, no problem. She's not breathing hard. She's just good. She's just great. And then she comes out of the water, and my one friend who watches it, bro, how did she get out of the ocean so fast? Like, how did he find her? Then is this really? This is what you...
When you that's look why no one likes plot holes, man. Like that's
what I likes you. That's why no one likes you. That's why you live alone and everyone hates you. Anyway. Yeah, man. He goes to save her. And then Godzilla nukes the town and she sacrifices herself for him. And that just drives him to not just revenge, but I'm finally kamikaze. I get it now. I am kamikaze now. I am all about that tokoda now. Let me fly this into Godzilla's mouth. I already blew up the mine in his face. We just need to make it a little bigger. We just need to make it a little bigger. Yeah.
Such a great moment.
So after Operation Deep Star 6 kind of works, Godzilla's weakened. So that's why, okay, you can suspend the disbelief. Let's blow his head off. That's probably going to work this time. It's great. It's great. Just great.
Just a good movie. And
yeah.
And so we've talked about why we love this film. Like, when we look at other classics of the genre of creatures and kind of man versus creature, let's say. And I guess I'm going to leave out some of the early Universal horror like Frankenstein, which are iconic monster movies, and Dracula. I'm going to talk more about like big ass monsters as opposed to like I love the big ass monsters of movies of the 50s too, because it's all about radiation and them and Godzilla, and that kicked off a major craze. But for me, it's about like Jaws, where I think Jaws is a classic because, you have that tiny boat, you have Jaws, you have the shitty mayor, you have Quint going insane, you have child death, you have animal death, you have characters who you can remember their names. The names of the characters. And I think what's interesting about that is at the end, it's just man versus nature. And it's very primal and it's very brutal. And the shark not work to their advantage. So I think that's a classic. I think Alien, right? Because they couldn't show the alien because it just would look silly. But it's about space truckers who get screwed over by their company. So there's even a little bit of, the mayor in Jaws is all about money. So money dooms a lot of people. In Alien, the big ass company dooms them. So I think there's some very interesting things to say. I mean, look at Bride of Frankenstein too. They make a bride and she's like, hell no. Like there's very, I think the greatest horror monster movies have a little bit of, like, I love Deep Blue Sea, but it's not one of the all-time greats. So I think the all-time great creature features have like Godzilla in the 50s. I think they have a little bit of what's the word?
There's a message.
Yeah, there's a message.
The bottom line is, my friend, all the best monster movies are the best monster movies because the bad guy is actually people.
Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
All-timer. Consumerism and terrible bikers.
Yep. People made Godzilla. People put the Nostromo on LV 426 to pick up the alien. People kept the ocean full so that Jaws would eat. The monsters just doing what they do. They just do what they do. But people put people in danger, whether it be for profit or love or whatever. And that's what makes the great monster movies great. The Thing, the original Thing from the 50s, the weird the thing that made that spooky was we don't trust people because you might be a communist and he looks like
yeah.
me.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Right, right. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. We're all the same. That's why we don't have any problems, because we all think the exact same way. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? Join us, man. Just go to sleep. It's no problem. What? Conformity, That was what that was about. So this is what the greatest creature flicks are about. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Even like The Day the Earth Stood Still, it's an alien film, but it's like, hey guys, knock your shit off.
Please stop killing each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's just
that's right.
I mean, the one great thing about the reason I hate why creature features or the horror genre are kind of poo-pooed on or thought of as minor genres is it's for years they've been a genre where you can sneak in messages. Like, if someone wanted to make a movie about two sisters going to college, they couldn't. But Julia Ducournau went and made Raw about two sisters who are cannibals on a French campus, and it's an all-timer film, and she won a Palme d'Or for her next film, Titan. But if you want to sneak in a message, you can't just make a film about a bad mayor. You have to be like with a shark or with a giant monster, and then people will go see it, or like Babadook. You talk about these things, and so I think that's why the horror genre can be very important. Is that you can sneak in things about grief or yeah, it's anything like just grief or communism or consumerism into your film, but it wouldn't have gotten made any other way. So it's so odd to me that people make these films and then they're like, oh, well, it's just the horror genre. No, like it's a way that
trash.
Yeah, it's like a way that messages. Like one of my favorite horror films ever is House, the 1977 Japanese film. It's absolutely incredible. It's just a gorgeous movie, and it was made by Nobuhiko Obayashi. He survived. He saw the bombings during World War II, and he felt like he lost a lot of his childhood essence, because you'll never be a child after dealing with that. So he worked with his daughter, his young daughter, to come up with these fanciful elements. And what he created was this movie of kind of like this jaded man who had been there, done that, and his daughter's imagination to create this bonkers horror film, which you can see a lot of the DNA in Evil Dead. And like it's a gorgeous film, and it's just a hoot, but it's a guy who had seen it all, teamed up with his daughter, and made a joyous delight of a horror film. So I don't know. I think there's really cool stories behind horror films.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And like, look at this movie cost 15 million. It made over 100 mil. Like Hollywood no, not Hollywood. The entire world of filmmaking has ridden horror movies forever to make bank. I mean, look at Pulse, The Ring, The Grudge, like those amazing Japanese films that really helped kickstart the American remake craze of the 2000s. Like excellent films made tons of money. So I just, you watch a movie like this and it's so great, but it bums me out that people are like, oh, that stupid Godzilla movie, when it has a better message than probably 99% of the movies you've watched.
Oh yeah. Anti-war, check. Trying to deal with grief in a positive way, check. Dealing with your responsibilities, what's in front of you, no matter what, you got to conquer it, check. That's Godzilla. Hell, Gremlins is a movie about responsibility, for Christ's sake, and just abusing nature. Gremlins 2, Norbert says Gremlins 2 is awesome. To hell with all of you.
Gremlins 2 is incredible.
Not only is Gremlins 2 great, the jokes about consumerism, the jokes about just taking humanity out of things, automation. It's anti-automation, anti-Trump. That's Daniel Clamp, ladies and gentlemen. Gremlins 2 said all of those things, and it was hilarious, and it was awesome, and it had spooky moments.
What a beautiful movie. And you know what's been really fun for me lately is I've been able to explore a lot more Japanese cinema and animation. So on the show, Kion, my good friend from Philly, we covered a movie called The Boy and the Beast, which is a Japanese animated film that we were able to talk about, which is a really great time. And lately, growing up, man, I thought Japan was like samurai, Kurosawa, Yakuza, Ghost Children, Godzilla, and Blood Squirts from Takashi Miike. So I've had a really great time exploring more Japanese cinema and kind of learning that, oh, it's not all battle royale. So I've just loved tackling more like Ozu and Drive My Car and just learning more about the culture beyond blood geysers. So it's and I've got like Criterion has a ton of their horror films, so I've been buying all those from like the 60s and learning more about the Japanese culture, because I've tackled a lot of Korean culture, so now I want to move on to Japanese cinema because I feel like it hits hard. And this is just a cool movie. It's yeah, I wish I had more for you, but I just really
No, you're
enjoyed this
good.
film.
You're good.
And
You're
like
good, man. This movie is just it's a beautiful thing. Go ahead.
I taught my students that like they would rent it out a baseball stadium, and
Nice.
they played the Godzilla sounds through the baseball speakers and recorded those to make it seem a little bit more ambient and catch more noise, and
Right.
as opposed to just using the files they had. So all the cool stuff they did in this movie added up, and I really enjoyed the industriousness of it. I'm glad we talked about it. I'm
It
glad you
is cool.
recommended it.
Oh man, it's wonderful. And then the guy who made Godzilla, the Godzilla theme, Akira Ifukube. God, I gotta get my pronunciation right. The sound of pine tar resin coated glove, rub it on the string of a contrabass, and then slow down the playback. He made this up 1955, 54.
Wow.
An iconic sound. They put it in every single Godzilla movie to some effect. Even the terrible 98 one, which I still like, as just the monster design is awesome.
It's a fun monster.
Even though Emmerich and them, they just literally said, Godzilla's stupid. We don't care. The monster design is awesome. And some great, when he's running around the city, he's all lithe and he digs underground. I love that aspect of it.
You and I were around in the 90s during the gigantic marketing push and the P. Diddy song and the Wallflower song and the Taco Bell commercials and the toys. Like that's such a great marketing campaign, and the trailers were everywhere. So even if people don't like the movie, they know the movie and they experience the movie. So I think it'll forever be a part of kind of my 16-year-old life, was all the advertising of that film, because I was a huge cinephile by that point. So
it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun.
You know why? You know why I don't mind watching it? Because it's just odd. Like that main woman, I had never really seen her in anything else. It's just there's like hits on Siskel and Ebert. Matthew Broderick is the lead. I think he's wearing a Kangol in a lot of it.
Yes, he is, for no reason.
Jean Reno is just a cool French guy popping in and out. There's baby T-Rex. Like it's just an odd duck of a movie. And sometimes I don't mind watching really weird movie. Like
it's great for a Saturday afternoon. You got nothing to do. You want to clean the house. Put Godzilla on in the background. You get 3/5 of the Simpsons cast in there for no reason. let's just use the Simpsons cast.
Yeah.
Let's just use it. Let's use the voice of Bart Simpson. Why not?
That's an odd
He'll be the secretary. Yeah. Let's destroy Madison Square Garden. Okay.
But I enjoy the new Godzilla. Like I just recently talked about the Godzilla movies, and I did an assignment and we covered it on the pod. And I think that one's interesting because it's just these big ass gods who just don't really care about humanity and they're just sort of existing. And Godzilla's just this really tired protector of man. And by the way, man messed everything up by unthawing Ghidorah and just being like, yeah, we're eco-terrorists. We're going to do the right thing. But
why not?
Let's unleash King Ghidorah. Yeah, awesome.
That's right.
And they're like bugs in that movie. So that I felt like, they've avoided any and all messages in the movie, but they've captured
the problem.
They've captured that these creatures look at humanity as just bugs. And Godzilla's the equalizer.
Yeah.
And he's grumpy.
Ghidorah's an alien. That's the problem. The problem was that Ghidorah was an alien. That was the big problem. Everything else kind of came from here. But Ghidorah's an alien, bro. So you can't have it, And we know that Godzilla is basically unkillable. They've tried to kill Godzilla so many different ways. The first movie, you get the Oxygen Destroyer. And since there's no real continuity, they just reboot it for all of the different periods. You got 4 periods of Godzilla. The 4 periods of Godzilla you have are uno momento, por favor. You got the Heisei, which is first. We are currently in the Reiwa period that started in 2014 and continues to now. And in between those 2 periods, you have Heisei. Oh, sorry. 1954 to 75,
Toho?
the Showa period.
Showa, yeah.
84 to 95, Heisei. 99 to 2004, Millennium. And 2014, the Reiwa period. So in these different periods, it basically reboots every time. And within each period, sometimes you get reboots. Millennium period, you had some continuity. The Reiwa period, I mean, we create a monsterverse. That's where we are now. But give the Japanese credit because they created the MCU formula before everybody else did. They make Godzilla. After Godzilla, they make a Rodan movie. They make a Mothra movie. Individual movies, like how you introduce the individual Avengers, and then they smash them all together. Godzilla, all monsters, all out monster attack, that type of thing. So they knew what they were doing. But how do you kill Godzilla? Oxygen Destroyer, check. You try to nuke him? Nope. Just pisses him off. They tried to kill him in the 2014 one with the nuke, they said, and that just made him angry. That was not a test. They put in an electric fence in the 50s movie. Of course, he destroyed that fence. They dropped avalanches on him. No good.
They destroyed his crib. They stuck a nuke in his face in Godzilla, in the one where Ken Watanabe sacrifices himself. They blew up his crib.
Not only, yeah, but what did that do? That gave him energy.
Yeah.
Literally blew up a nuke right next to his face. He was just like, thanks. I needed that. Shin Godzilla, they hit him with missiles, hit him with missiles. He shoots lasers out his back now. Sorry, we took all the planes out. So they drop buildings on him, throw a bunch of coagulant in his stomach. Cool. That doesn't kill him though. That freezes him.
Yeah, just
and then you know what I mean. And then the '98 one, we use the Brooklyn Bridge, where we tie him up in the Brooklyn Bridge and then just hit him with normal missiles. That's why it was such a letdown, because you've heard the things that we just said. And this Godzilla, we just drop a couple bombs on him. It's fine. That's another reason why the '98 one was such sigh.
And it sinks to the bottom. Don't get me started on that.
Because look what just happened in Godzilla Minus One. They blew the top of his freaking head off. He's going to grow back.
Yep.
We know it. They show you at the end. Spoiler alert. Yeah, that chunk, whatever, it's growing back. And then, unfortunately, you got our friend who survives in the hospital getting some funky stuff growing up their neck.
Just leave him alone. Let him have a happy ending. Why do you have to be all? Why does Noriko have to go all venomed,
bro? Venom.
Topher Grace pops up
with terrible teeth prosthetics.
and he edits. But then, if he edits the movie, it might be better.
Venom.
Hey, so I like doing a draft. How do you want to do a Japanese movie draft?
Let's go.
All right. So I'll let you pick first.
All right. First Japanese movie I pick is going to be.
Oh, there's so many of them.
Ooh. My brain just died. Okay. Just because I just had a brain fart, I'm just going to go with Godzilla Minus One right now.
Okay.
Because it's right there.
I like that.
I just had a brain fart.
Godzilla Minus One. I'm gonna go really random, and I'm gonna take 13 Assassins because that's like one of the greatest action films. I'm not even gonna take 7 Samurai. I'm gonna take Takashi Miike's 13 Assassins.
There you go. I will go next with Battle Royale.
Oh my gosh, here's a good one. Oh, that's so good. Let's see. I just watched this recently because I was doing an episode on Columbus, and this movie's based on a lot of those. So I'm gonna take Tokyo Story. Ozu's classic. That's a good film.
Nice. Okay. I am going to go weird, and I am going to pick Sadako versus Kayako 2016. It is the Godzilla versus King Kong of Japanese ghost movies.
What?
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Sadako of The Ring versus Kayako of The Grudge.
Oh, that's amazing.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You need that in your life, my friend. It's just you just what?
You know what I talked about early? I'm gonna take House because I love House.
Go for it. Okay.
What's your fourth?
How many do I have there?
You have 3.
Okay, number four. Japanese movie.
There's so many good ones.
I am going Akira.
Oh,
yes,
classic.
Cartoon, but I love it.
Well, gotta go with it. Perfect. I'm gonna
it.
go.
I love it.
Oh man, One Shot of the Dead. I'm gonna do that. Have you seen that movie?
Oh, I know about that. That's where they were trying to make a zombie movie.
Yeah, and it's hilarious, and it's new, and it's just a really great film, and I adore it so much. So, One Shot of the Dead. I haven't taken a Godzilla movie yet.
And finally,
there's just so many good. Like, I haven't even taken like a Kurosawa movie yet.
Well, most of my Japanese film experience is with anime.
Well, take whatever you want.
Yeah, so that's why I'm going to pick the last anime I'm going to pick is
Ninja Scroll?
I just saw it. That's too easy. This is brilliant. Ninja Scroll rules. You're right. Yeah, let's just go there. You're right. Thank you. Oh man. Ninja Scroll, that changed my life. That movie. I didn't know that movies or cartoons could be that. Ninja Scroll is flawless, man.
I love it. I'm gonna take Wolf Children. I think that's I was gonna take The Boy and the Beast, but yeah, Wolf Children. It's about. Have you heard about this movie? So Mamoru Hosoda directed it, and it's about a woman who has kids with a werewolf, and then the werewolf leaves, and she has to raise the 2 kids. But it's like really good film. Yeah, it's Wolf Children, and and I watched it because of the Boy and the Beast episode, and I really liked it. So I'm gonna take Wolf Children.
In terms of Japanese cinema, I'm more of an anime guy, like I said. But with Chinese stuff, it's more live action for me because your boy from The Killer.
Oh wait, One Cut of the Dead.
And Wu-Tang.
John Woo.
And exactly.
And I messed it up. It's One Cut of the Dead. I don't know why I said One Shot of the Dead. No, but I mean, but here's the thing though. Like in the 90s, we got inundated with a lot of like Hong Kong action films, like a lot of Jackie Chan, and so that's what I became familiar with. And then from all over the continent, you had like Jet Li, Chow Yun-fat, you have Ken Watanabe,
right.
you had an influx of actors coming over here. Like Japanese cinema for me in the 90s was like Brother and like really hyper stylized films. So I think in the 90s I got inundated a lot more with those kind of action films, and then 2000s I learned more about J-horror. And then in 2010, I learned like 13 Assassins. And then, lately I've been watching the Baby Assassin movies. I've watched Baby Assassin 1 and 2. They're really fun Japanese films about 2 college age girls who are assassins who can barely keep their jobs or pay rent or pay insurance. And they're just a huge pain in the ass for people. And they're just charming, cool. And like recently I watched by Koreeda, I watched Monster. Like it's fun, man. There's literally a whole world out there, Norbert.
No, there really is. There really is, man. There really is. The Stephen Chow movies.
Oh yeah.
The Shaolin Soccer.
Sorry, I jumped on you there.
No, you're fine. You're fine. The Stephen Chow movies. The Drunken Masters, the Jackie Chan, A Better Tomorrow, Hard Boiled, The Killer, Infernal Affairs. These are Chinese movies that I'm into. You know what I mean? So Japanese stuff, in terms of live action Japanese movies, I've never really gotten deep into it the way that I did with the Chinese movies.
Infernal Affairs, dude. Holy
that movie.
mackerel.
Yo, if you all have seen The Departed, watch Infernal Affairs. It's even better.
Better.
It's even better.
John Woo, Hard Boiled, The Killer. Hard Boiled is one of my all-time action films.
Bruh.
Indonesia's crushing it now too. I know it's a completely different country, but The Raid and Raid 2 and The Night Comes for Us, like they're bringing it for action right now.
Okay. But I just the John Woo things are so crazy because his name's just Tequila. Yeah. And he's a murderer. He's not trying to arrest anybody.
Playing saxophone and shooting people down in tea rooms.
He's a murderer.
But you know what's crazy? In the 90s, I didn't know how influential John Woo was. You know, you watch The Killer and Hard Boiled, and then you watch Desperado, which is incredible. I'm not knocking Desperado, but you watch The Big Hit and all those films like The Matrix. I mean, you know, an entire decade was influenced by John Woo's balletic gunplay.
Yeah. But that's because those people who are good know where to crib good stuff from and put a spin on it. That's the thing. That's the difference. They're not just Control C, Control V. They're Control C, put it through a Chat GPT filter, change a couple more words. Now it's mine.
It's like 90s had the action of kind of Hong Kong cinema, Chinese cinema. 2000s had like Old Boy came out, but that didn't hit big till later. But 2000s had J-horror remakes. That became huge.
The early aughts. Yeah.
I didn't even pick a Studio Ghibli movie, but whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's just fun. Like it's, you know, people talk now about how cinema isn't like it was in the past. It wasn't like the 1970s in America, man. But the more we have so much more access to cinema from all over the world,
from the globe. Yes, you know, there are 8 billion of us. And like, watch other countries' movies, folks.
Stuff like Crunchyroll and everything. You watch some awesome stuff on there. So yeah, no, I love where we're at now. I love that I can get access to Baby Assassins 2. I love that I can get access to Monster and really neat movies. So I love where we're at because I feel like, you know, this is a journey I'm on to watch movies, and I enjoy expanding my horizons all over the world. So it's cool. It's good.
Oh yeah. And anime is perhaps in one of its greatest periods ever because, like you say, you got the Crunchyroll, you got the streaming services now. Whereas back when you and I were growing up, we had to find either bootleg tapes or Suncoast Motion Picture Company.
Yes.
My favorite store in the mall.
And, you know, Megan grew up watching Sailor Moon on black and white TV in her room.
Of course, of course.
It's what was on, and Dragon Ball Z. And, you know, I didn't watch Dragon Ball Z until I was older, and I had to watch every single one of them to pull all of Vegeta's stats. And I still love Vegeta. But yeah, that's...
You want to talk about canon. Get lost in that canon.
But hey, man, thank you for joining me, Norbert. This was awesome.
This is why we're here, ladies and gentlemen. Movies are not just made in America. Breaking news.
And listen, I don't want you thinking that we just discovered it, but you got to understand that growing up in the 90s and 80s as we did, we had what was on TV. We had what was at the Blockbuster. And basically. So yeah, and listen, like when I was younger, whenever I could get my hands on Audition or Old Boy or I watched, you know, Seven Samurai. Like I got into Kurosawa, but now I feel like my world's just blowing up even more with the Criterion Channel and Mubi and Well Go USA, and it also helps I can get screeners of everything. But it's fun, man. I love where we're at now, and I love that movies like Godzilla, you know, but also too like RRR, Godzilla Minus One, Parasite. These are getting like,
Monkey Boy.
Back in the day, we had like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon coming out,
and that was the 2000s.
Yeah, and it was like, hey, this movie's awesome, but nothing really else. There were other examples, of course, but nowadays you can have a Parasite, you can have an RRR, you can have a Godzilla Minus One. You can have movies from all over the Train to Busan, and you can have movies from all over the world reach our cinemas and make a ton of money. India,
get a wide release. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's not just VHS anymore. Whereas you and I, we had to go to Blockbuster, or you had to know a guy who had a bootleg copy of the anime, something like that. Yeah. So these movies are coming out in theaters now.
It's a good time for us, and especially for people who grew up. Yeah, and listen, there's nothing wrong with it, but people who watch The Fugitive 40,000 times on TNT, we now have.
I don't care.
We now have an expanded thing to watch. But hey, Norbert, man, thank you for joining me. And got anything to promote?
I am still alive. Breaking news, folks. That's my promotion. You can catch me on Twitter at Eddie Kane, SoundCloud, Norbert Morvan. Enjoy yourself.
Love it, man. And I love you too, Norbert. You're a good friend.
Mwah.
So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Norbert Morvan, this is Movies from the Flicks. We'll see you next week.